Right, hello Facebook land. Now, if you have already been watching me probably twice already today on Facebook because you are in the My 365 group, hello again. And if you are in the My 365 group, you'll know that the topic of the week is homeostasis. But here I'm going to be going into much more detail, telling you about how to look after each of your homeostatic systems as well. And excuse me while I just send out some random invitations here to some random type lovely people. Okay, all right, so hello. So talk right is part of the Magnificent Seven as taught in My 365 and Dr. Bob Rakowski and myself. Thank you to Dr. Bob. And talk right, there's two components. There's the internal chatter, your self-talk that's going in here. Actually, sorry, there's three components. There's your self-talk here, there's talking right to everybody out there, but there's also the internal communication systems inside your body. And that's what Dr. Bob is really talking about, and what I'm really talking about here. I'm talking about all of the internal communication systems, because the internal chatter here comes under thinking right, and it kind of incorporates talking right as well. And that's the great thing about the Magnificent Seven. It all intertwines and works with itself. So homeostasis, what is homeostasis? Well, homeostasis as applied to humans it's the name that's given to the collective processes that keep you alive in an ever-changing environment. It's what allows a constant internal environment to be maintained. Consistency is the key in staying alive. So it means that your body temperature stays pretty much the same whatever it is out there. Yes, your fingers and your toes and your skin might get cold, but your internal body temperature stays the same. The pH in your blood has to stay the same no matter how you're eating or how much stress you put yourself under or how much you exercise. And exercise is the most acidic thing we do, but our blood still remains pretty much stable. It breaks down other parts of our system to keep it there. So homeostasis is the collective name of all these processes. So what I'm going to do over the next 5 days is I'm going to look at each of the different main systems and what you can do to really help keep all these homeostatic systems working and working really well. So I'm going to talk to you about products, things you can do, exercises, all sorts of things, hopefully. So I'm going to do a bit of an overview. For those of you that watched in My 365, it will be a bit of a repeat, but I'll go into it a little bit differently so it's not exactly the same. So, homeostasis. Now, from a chiropractic point of view, from an osteopathic point of view, very, very keen on pointing out the central role of the nervous system in maintaining all of the body processes, in making sure that everything is communicating and coordinating. Make sure your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing at the right rate, and make sure your brain is actually picking up on all of these different things. So the first part is the nervous system and the brain. So I will now draw a picture of the brain and the nervous system. Voila. Okay, brain and lots of nerves. And so this all then goes to various organs like your liver, which I'm going to try and draw backwards. So there's a liver, you have a heart with its pump going on, you have kidneys, etc. Have all sorts of organs. They have squiggly internal organs as well. So you've got your brain and your nervous system, and your nerves actually go right down to even talking to the favourite part, the cell. The nerves talk to your cells as well, both by directly and also by releasing chemicals, and all of your cells, including your red blood cells that are circulating, apparently have receptors on them for neuropeptides. So, which reminds me to talk about proteins. Peptides are proteins. So first of all, you have the actual main ova system, and then you have what's called the endocrine system, the hormone system. And so that consists of, let's use some different colors. That consists of the hypothalamus and the pituitary. So we're talking about the brain, and so this is where the nervous system and the hormone system connect in the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is part of the brain, then goes to the pituitary, which is kind of your master overseeing hormone organ. And then you come down to the thyroid. In here you've got parathyroid glands as well, but the thyroid is a big one. And then you've got your adrenal glands, you've got your pancreas, and then you've got the gonadal area down here. I'm not a very good artist, but I don't need to be. And so again, not only does do all these organs have stuff coming from the nervous system, these things are also picking up on hormones, and they're also releasing hormones. The nervous system talks directly to all of these to get the hormones released that go into the blood. They circulate around the body, they do stuff. And also your brain and the blood supply going through the brain into the hypothalamus picks up what all these hormones are doing, and it kind of feedbacks into the body. So in order for your hormones to be regulated properly, the nervous system must be working properly, and the brain must be working properly to pick up on everything. And hormones and the nerves, they have effects on the cells, and of course if the receptors on your cells and your cell membranes aren't working properly because they're inflamed or toxic, see the 5R training that I've already done, then your body's not going to pick up on the hormones, you're not going to have the right effect, the brain's going to think there's a problem, it's going to pump out more hormones. And this is typically what happens in it when you eat lots of sugar. The whole insulin and diabetes things happens, or you can have high or normal thyroid hormones, but your body's not picking up on it. So your blood can look normal, but the cells are wrong. So you've got hormones, you've got the nervous system, and then you have also the immune system. The immune system and the immune cells, there are lots of chemicals and there's lots of communication going on between all of these three things, which has led to something called psychoneuroimmunology, which is how your brain, your nervous system, or your thoughts, your nervous system and your immune system are all working together and communicating with each other. And not only can your thoughts affect your immune system can affect your thoughts. See, because this pathway goes both ways. Sometimes you cannot have the right thoughts because your brain is inflamed and your nervous system is inflamed, and you've got autoimmune problems happening because your immune system is out of control because the homeostasis mechanisms are not working. So we're already getting complicated, and we've only spoken about 3 systems so far, and there's more. There's more to it, because how do all of these things then communicate? They communicate via different chemicals, as well as what's happening electrically through the nervous system. But at the end of the day, it's chemicals. And so in the nervous system, you have neuropeptides. In the hormone system, you have hormones. And the neuropeptides, they are made from proteins. So if you're not eating enough of the right proteins, you can't make neuropeptides. Part of your communication system is gone. Another very important part of your communication system is what sits on the outside of cells. And very often, and they look like little flags and antennae, and they can look really weird, not that big though, in comparison to the cell. And a lot of these are made from what are called glyconutrients. And I'll go more into glyconutrients on another day. But it's what a lot of these things come from a lot of foods that we should be eating, a lot of things that we don't actually eat very much of anymore. Mosses, saps, seeds, seaweeds, a lot of the herbs and spices that we used to have. Well, we now have herbs and spices from around the world, but we used to eat a lot of things that we no longer eat that are grown naturally to where you are, because like mosses and saps and things, full of glyconutrients needed for internal communication systems, so for making sure the immune system is stimulated when it needs to be stimulated, or make sure it's calmed down when it needs to be calmed down. So we have neuropeptides, we have glyconutrients, and then hormones are made from the right fats. So you need the right fats to create the hormones to make sure the right communication systems happen. And then you have, I'm not going to draw it because I can't draw it. you have a very amazing system that seems to be linking all of these things together, and it's this system that seems to be really it helps bring peace and harmony to your systems. It seems to be the control homeostatic chemical compound system, and it's called the endocannabinoid system, as in cannabis. Yes, really. I'm not telling you to smoke yourself to get well, but I am going to go into more of the endocannabinoid system later on in the week, because it's very, very, very exciting, and everyone needs to learn about it no matter what walk of life you're in. But especially if you're in personal training, you need to know about the endocannabinoid system. If you're in health, you need to learn about the endocannabinoid system. If you're in psychology, you need to learn about the endocannabinoid system. So you've got the nervous system, the endocrine system, the immune system, you've got the endocannabinoid system. And now they've also found out that there's the biophoton system, which is absolutely incredible. We have the equivalent of fiber optic cables running on the inside of us. Our nerves have these in, so if you shine a laser light at one end of a nerve, you can actually detect biophotons at the other end coming out more as well. And so light plays a really important part in our internal communication systems, and must be right as well. So there's a whole load of things, and I will dive into more detail over the next week. I'm just going to check to see if there's anything else I wanted to add today. Let's see. That's right. Oh yeah, Bruce Lipton. That's what I wanted to talk about. Some of you may or may not have already read the book The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. Really important. He talks about the cell membrane and how the cell membrane is really the brain of the cell. It's really the thing that allows things into the cell, into the DNA, and the things out. Because our DNA at the middle in the cell nucleus, okay, this is basically, the cell nucleus is like a book to be read. It's the instruction manual. It's not the actual brain that's reading the book. But basically our nervous system is basically the way that our DNA talks to and figures out what's happening in the outside world. The nervous system, through our senses, goes through the nervous system, and then it basically talks to the DNA, and the DNA then releases the right information in the form of RNA, which again, protein, or peptides, and then this gets translated into building something, which then gets out of the cell and then starts creating and doing things, whether this builds a hormone or whatever, that then our brain senses that it's the right thing. It's a massive, massive, massive subject. Okay, but how we think affects even the cell membrane, and the cell membrane affects how we think. So whatever walk of life you're in, and whatever you are, whether you think that the most important thing is the way you think, whether you think the most important thing is what you eat, whether you think the most important thing is your exercise, whether you think the most important thing is your nervous system, you're all right, but you're also all a little bit wrong, because it's all important. And one of the tricks of getting healthy, truly healthy, is actually finding out which one of these, or which group of them, is the problem. Where is your homeostasis going out of whack? Is it because of your thinking? Or if your thinking keeps on going out of whack, and all you're ever doing is trying to get your thinking right and your psychology right, and that's all you ever do, but you still keeps on going back and say, oh, I've got to get my thinking right. It could be more likely that there's actually something else happening somewhere else. Or if you're constantly eating the wrong foods, is it because of your thought patterns, or is it because there's something else happening in another part? I mean, this is the thing. If you're not getting the results you want, you need to change, and you need to go after another system and look at it in another way. Okay, whether you need to start exercising, decreasing exercise, change your exercise, change your diet. You may have a healthy diet, but it might not be the right healthy diet for you at the time. And we also change as we evolve and as we grow. So I hope you found that useful and confusing today. Tomorrow, I'm not sure which one I'm going to start with. Probably start with the nervous system, because that's mainly what I spent the last 20 years working with, the nervous system. So tomorrow, tune in to learn more about the nervous system and how to look after it in different ways. Yeah, nervous system tomorrow. Be here, so it should be 1:30 every day for the rest of the week now to get all the rest of the training done. Live long and prosper, everyone, and thank you for all the birthday wishes, everybody. I should have said that at the beginning, really. Okay, bye for now.